In today's fight news, we start off with former champ Daniel Cormier recently on an episode of his YouTube channel urging Michael Chandler to walk away from the idea of fighting Conor McGregor. He had this to say: "I don't know that he should wait anymore. I think it's time to move off of this. I believe that the overwhelming sentiment is that Conor McGregor is done." UFC president Dana White also had a few things to say about McGregor. "It's the business, man. That's the way it goes. And from here on, I'm not going to talk about it until he's healed and he's right." White also discussed the upcoming UFC 306 event that takes place in the Sphere in Mexico. He said that he's already invested $17 million into the event, and it's not even September. On the topic of Dana White, Chael Sonnen says that he thinks when Dana White leaves the sport of MMA, that the sport is going to take a big hit. He had this to say: "I don't ever want to see him go. I will tell you that. This is my #1 sport that I'm a fan of, and they got the right guy at the helm." Since being announced that he is going to be the new main event at UFC 303 after Conor McGregor had to pull out due to an injury, Alex Pereira posted on his social media account the following: "I understand that this fight is very close and there may be difficulties with the lead-up time, but if there is somebody that can make this happen, it's me, Poatan. This is why I'm one of the biggest names in the UFC, Alex Pereira. I take risks that not one other person would be willing to take, but I know I have my ancestors with me, the spirits are with me, and I'm ready for it all." Speaking of saving a fight, light heavyweight contender Anthony Smith has stepped in on short notice to take on Carlos Ulberg at the UFC 303 event. During a recent interview with SiriusXM, he stated the following: "I'm the fraud check guy." During the fight night weigh-ins for this weekend's event, Tagir Ulanbekov has been pulled from the event. He missed weight for the first time at UFC Vegas 93. Ulanbekov was 3.5 pounds over the weight limit for his fight against Joshua Van. A gutted Joshua Van posted on his X account, "Should I just retire so all these boys can start making weight and stop pulling out of fights to save the flyweight division?" Aside from Ulanbekov missing weight, the rest of the fighters for this weekend's UFC Fight Night event were on point, especially the main event between Perez and Taira. On to boxing, as Tank Davis and Frank Martin both make weight for their lightweight championship fight. At the fight weigh-ins and final face-off between Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin, things got heated as the two fighters went back and forth, trading verbiage. In the co-main event, David Benavidez and Alexander Bozdik made weight for their light heavyweight clash. During a recent interview, Benavidez had this to say about his rival Canelo Alvarez: "This guy's charging so much for his pay-per-views. It's like he's spitting in you guys' faces. He's saying he doesn't give a F what you guys want. He's not going to give you the best fights. If you hold all the titles, you've got to be the best in the division. I'm #1, and #2 is David Morrell. He's not fighting me, and he's not fighting Morrell. How long is he going to call himself champion if he doesn't fight the #1 and #2 guys? He's disrespecting you. If you guys are cool with that, then there's nothing I can say about it." According to famed boxing promoter Bob Arum, discussions are being held for a potential fight between Gervonta Davis and Vasily Lomachenko. Arum states that this would be a lightweight unification bout, and he estimates that the fight would take place around November. Former Tank Davis opponent Ryan Garcia says that he has Davis winning by the 8th round. Per Michael Benson, a statement has been released by NutraBio founder and CEO Mark Glazer in response to Ryan Garcia and his legal team's claims. In the statement, they said, "NutraBio categorically rejects the reckless claims made by Ryan Garcia and his team that the NutraBio Super Carb product caused Garcia's positive test for Ostarine." Promoter Eddie Hearn says that he has advised Devin Haney to defend his WBC Super Lightweight World title against Sandor Martin, his mandatory, instead of fighting Subriel Matias as a unification bout. Hearn said the following: "I don't think Matias is the right fight for Devin right now, coming off that defeat. I'm not saying Devin wouldn't fight Matias, he would. I believe Martin is the right fight." Promoter Bob Arum says his fighter Naoya Inoue will not be taking on Murajan Akhmadaliev, who is Inoue's mandatory to his WBA title. Arum had this to say: "No chance. Who is this guy? Nobody's ever heard of him. We're not gonna fight a no-name guy in Wembley. Inoue means so much to Japan. It's the same Inoue with 3 titles as with 4. According to boxing journalist Dan Raphael, Caleb Plant versus Stephen Fulton is being planned for August 10th or the 17th. This event would be on Amazon Prime Video. However, it would be the first non-pay-per-view that the PBC has put on the platform. It was just announced that Floyd Money Mayweather will be taking on John Gotti III in an exhibition match on August 24th in Mexico. This will be a rematch from a fight they had last year, which ended in an all-out brawl. The weights are in for the rematch between Chris Billiam-Smith and Richard Riakporhe. The weights are also in for the boxing match between Anderson Silva and Chael Sonnen. Speaking of the Spider, in a recent interview, he said he has no interest in fighting former foe Vitor Belfort in the boxing ring. He stated, "The history with Vitor is over. What would be more impressive than that kick I landed on Vitor?" Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this content, like and subscribe.